All new here at 6 o'clock for you. As you know, Charlotte is growing fast. More than 100 people said to be moving here every day. City leaders working to stay on top of planning for all that growth. This summer they adopted what's called the Unified Development Ordinance, the UDO. It's a comprehensive list of rules, more than 700 pages long, guiding growth to fit with our community's goals. So more than 6 months have passed since that went into effect. How are things going? WBTV's Caroline Hicks set out to answer that question.
After years of public input in deciding how the city of Charlotte should grow and where resources should be focused, the UDO went into effect in June. The long-term impact remains to be seen, but people in the real estate and building industry are already feeling the effects. I took some of their questions and concerns to the Director of Planning for the city.
We really haven't updated our ordinances in over 30 years.
Allison Craig, the planning director for the city of Charlotte, says that's where the UDO comes into play, setting guidelines in areas including affordable housing, parking, public open space, and drainage, and changing the way developments are zoned, allowing duplexes and triplexes on any residential lot instead of just corner lots.
Not everyone wants to live in an apartment, and not everyone wants to live in a single-family home. And so there's other options for people with different types of family situations.
Why do you think that was such a controversial element of this and concerning for people that live across the city of Charlotte?
I mean, all of us are nervous about change, and so that's not surprising. It's something different. Maybe they haven't seen it before.
More than 6 months in, the applications for these duplexes and triplexes are not rushing in.
There are height limitations for duplexes and triplexes, so they have to be in scale with the neighborhood. There's also some driveway limitations in terms of how much pavement you can have in front of the home.
All of those regulations are garnering criticism from the development community.
The smaller sites are more conducive to duplexes. The larger lots are not. Although the larger lots would be the better fit for duplexes. So in that respect, it's a little backwards.
David Behringer Smith owns Behringer Homes. He's also involved in lobbying efforts for REBIC, the Real Estate and Building Industry Coalition in Charlotte.
I'd like to see the text amendments get fast-tracked. It's affecting time and money for both homeowners and for the industry.
Text amendments are proposed changes to the UDO, and they're not the only things Smith feels are moving too slowly.
When it initially came out, permit times quadrupled. It went from getting a permit in 2 weeks to 8 to 12 weeks.
Craig says her department is working on a solution.
Whether it's for projects that have affordability targets or if it's large projects that want to pay a premium to go through the permitting process faster, having different ways that people can navigate that are things that we're talking about.
Affordable housing is a big concern as the city grows. Do you think the UDO helps with that?
Yes, there's a list of incentives that developers can use if they provide certain affordability targets. Sidewalk reimbursements, some certain waivers from street requirements.
Despite those efforts, Smith is concerned by what his industry is facing so far.
More regulation equals higher housing cost. And if you believe that, more density, more homes, less regulation, that's the key to more affordability.
Many of these regulations, like stormwater management, stem from complaints the city gets from existing homeowners.
We are starting to require drainage plans for even small projects, and a lot of times it's just, you continue on, it's just a check just to make sure that there isn't an issue, but I think it's an opportunity to make sure that we aren't creating additional downstream flooding challenges for our community.
In a recent exclusive interview with Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, I also asked her about the UDO. How do you feel about what was the finished product there? Do you feel like everything you wanted made it in there?
I believe the UDO is one of the most significant accomplishments that the city has made. And it's not the individual lot as much as it is creating neighborhoods, creating places where people can work, creating places that people can gather.
While Smith says there are frustrations within the building industry, he remains hopeful.
And in due time, I may be able to sit here and say that it did help affordability. We're each approaching this from different angles of the industry. I do think it has fostered higher density in certain areas like South End, and that will help affordability.
How do you strike a balance? I mean, it's hard to make everyone happy, right?
It's a very, very delicate balance, and a great question. You're never going to make everybody happy, but what we are really trying to do is we're trying to think about Charlotte as a whole and wanting to make Charlotte be a prosperous place, an attractive place for people to live, and an affordable place. And sometimes those are hard decisions that we have to make.
Another goal of the UDO is to simplify zoning and cut down on the amount of rezoning applications filed. I asked whether that has happened. Craig said the city is not seeing a drastic change yet, but it's too early to tell. I'm Caroline Hicks reporting WBTV on your side.